Speaking of action, we got a flag and drag going on to Dax. Dax taking below half. Flash ulti from Spears is going to scoop him up. Tef is caught in between three. He has flash. He should be able to get out of this one. He's getting low. The root is going to slash. Tef does not, getting chased down. Knock up going on to Jaffe with the Caitlyn ult. They're all taken low. But Pro Lupul's going to go down, traded in. The Lux ult does go wide ever so slightly. Idris now in the fray. Cataclysm going to pick up Tef off to the side. Going to scoop up Jaffe and Dax, trying to get out of this one. Turned into Caitlyn, has the range, but a triple kill for Idris.
And the Caitlyn ult is going to go down. It's going to chunk Orphic a lot, but really, they're just leading the members of H-Block to their well-deserved Baron. Spears finding a great flank angle, and the fight should get out.
And that's very good from Pro Lupul with the engage from Idris to follow. An ulti from Nico. The Wombo combo is in, and the stun onto Dax is actually going to seal him in. And that's 4 members of BBZ gone at the speed of light. Very good proactive engagement. You don't gank Nico. Nico ganks you, getting more roots onto more members. Jackie was taken so low. Zonya's going to be popped out by Spears. Idris coming out to get Dax away from them. Orphic with the ultimate onto only Jita. Aquarius Bottle is going to be able to take out the Diego. Orphic will be going down as well as Varus. And that will be... Welcome back to Friend or Foe, Luna League semifinals, and with an absolutely astounding performance from HBK in Game 1, they're going to take the lead in the series, taking their very own blue side this game are Blue Bayou Zoo, and on the red side will be the big old red HBK. On their respective sides, I'm hyped to see how this series will go for either teams if they're able to align their own stars. As always, my name is Whirler, and casting alongside me again, we have War Leader.
Happy to be here. Let's see if Game 2 can be a little different from Game 1. So far, the bans indicate yes. We see that BBZ have opted to take away Spears' Nico. It is so dominating whenever he gets that champion. So I'm very happy to see that taken away. Meanwhile, H-Block are going to run the same bans, except they're going to ban the Nami instead of the Lucian. And BBZ are going to opt to take away that Jarvan first pick.
Dax on his Jarvan. We've seen Idris and Dax both take these picks and do numbers with it. And with these 80 carry or with the 80 carry ban and support bans, they're really targeting the bot lane on Blue Bayou Zoo's side. Also picking away Red's Lucian that he demonstrated a lot of extreme skill on in the last series. HBK are going to be piloting it now with the Galio as the support potentially.
Yeah, so Lucian Galio. So the Galio could be mid, it could be support. Normally you see the Lucian paired with an Enchanter that can apply his Vigilance buff. And we're going to have to see what BBZ want to counter. In the bot side, it's going to be Aphelios Lulu, which is a very strong lane in the current meta. It's just very hard to deal with the Aphelios and the amount of damage he can output with the buffs that Lulu can stack on him. Very hard to kill the Aphelios with the shield and the health that Lulu can provide, so I really like that as a response. What's normally a lane-dominant ADC without a couple of those traditional supports that make Lucian strong, I really like the pick. And Gragas is going to be the answer from H1.
Which could be flexed multiple ways in this game. With Galio picked up, that could be Gragas mid, or that could be Gragas mid, that could be Gragas support. Still could be Gragas jungle as well, but could it be Gragas top? This champion is still able to be flexed so many ways. And we can see in just the next few picks exactly where this Gragas will go. Honestly, a very good pick so far from HBK. Throws the draft off a little bit. Don't know where it's going. It's like you're looking at 5 champions instead of 6. And with the bans being taken off in the second round of bans, Teemo being banned away again from Blue Bayou Zoo, Jaffe not getting that Teemo whether he wants it or not, and Yasuo Zed being taken off the table as well for HBK.
Yeah, I'm very surprised to know what information is leading to the Yasuo and the Zed bans. They seem, I don't know, not something I've seen very much, but maybe Spears is a very avid Zed fan, so we'll have to see. But it looks like Echo is going to be the pick for H-Block, putting together a very unorthodox draft thus far. Echo has recently been buffed in the jungle, so isn't necessarily locked down in that mid lane. And so far, H-Block's composition is very flexible aside from that Lucian.
Definitely so. I mean, don't say that just yet. Lucian's a solo laner, might I add. So they can flex this any which way they want. Not too sure I want to call that one just yet. Could be a little sketchy if they do it, but the TF is going to be locked in for Blue Bayou Zoo, and the gank pressure that Blue Bayou Zoo has drafted for themselves is scary to say the least.
Yeah, I really like the composition that BBZ has so far. I think it's a lot more suited to their playstyle than what they had last time. And Tom Kench to round it out for Jaffe, pretty blindable, just strong, tanky top laner, ready to play that weak side. Aphelios Lulu going to be getting a lot of the attention, but still Tom Kench does have the pressure to help out in that top side when the Jarvan, when the Twisted Fate come up to the top side. Looks like HBK is going to finish their composition with Kindred, so it's really hard to say who's going where, as Kindred can also flex jungle or mid lane. So with all 5 of HBK's champions able to go into that mid lane, it's really going to be down to game time to see where they go.
And that is the scary part for Blue Bayou Zoo, because matchups are everything for this team. If you have a good matchup, you're looking pretty. With TF, you're also looking at a pretty weak side lane in general. But that roam pressure that Twisted Fate can have in a game like this is definitely not something to scoff at. With that being said, I'm really looking forward to seeing Blue Bayou Zoo come back from their recent defeat. I like the way that they drafted their comp. I'm hoping to see my prediction come true as a Blue Bayou Zoo win.
And we'll have to see as we get into the game if that is going to be true. Let's see where these champions are going. All right, it's Jita piloting Gragas in the top lane. Aquarius Bottle role swapping into the jungle on the Kindred. Idris going to be on the Echo mid. Spears piloting Lucian bot lane, and Pro Lupul staying in the support role on the Galio. So now let's take a look at these lane matchups. Starting with the bottom lane, I think Aphelios Lulu is actually going to have a great time into Lucian Galio. Aphelios Lulu is such a strong laning duo that I would be surprised if any sort of support with the Lucian could beat it, even though Lucian is really lane dominant. Galio, I don't think, is going to be that answer. Jaffe's going to be caught on a ward here, going to be taking a little bit of damage from that cask. Yeah, over in the top lane, Tom Kench and Gragas should be able to mostly stabilize. The power that Tom Kench has in the fights is going to be quickly mitigated by the sustain that top lane Gragas brings. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Echo's going to be a lot stronger than Orphic at pretty much all stages of the game in terms of just damage, but it's going to be what they can do on the map that determines the difference. And meanwhile, both these junglers, very strong in their own right, have 2 different roles. Jarvan wants to get things going early, be primary engaged for the team. Kindred wants to be more damage-oriented, more backline-oriented. So we're going to have to see how those roles evolve as this game goes on.
In the bot lane, we got a little bit of a scuffle going on level 1. Pro Lupul and Spears waiting in the wings. And as I wanted to say before, HBK are showing BBZ up here with the role swaps. BBZ already role swapped 3 members. They said, let's do the exact same. We can do it too, BBZ. And they're starting off strong with a push in the bot lane against Lulu Aphelios.
Absolutely.
And in the mid lane, a good trade from Idris. Going to get the return queue onto Orphic. Taken down to half. Both members are going to take even trades there. Both potions are popped so far. Idris going back in for more. Going to get the 3rd hit with the flash. Forcing the flash out of Orphic as well. Idris is taken dangerously low, however. No ignites on either of the mid laners. They're just going to be low and pushing it as much as possible. TF with the passive. With a CS lead of anything, you'd be scared to see TF do anything with that gold. I think any even CS overall in TF's would be in TF's favor just because of that passive, and it's so scary to lane against sometimes coming mid game.
Yeah, it's so easy to underestimate how much that Gambler's passive can provide to the Twisted Fate. Even though, say, the Echo has 3 CS right now, off only 14 CS, the TF has more than equalized it. So, very strong passive. Means that it's sort of on the Echo to try and bully the Twisted Fate early, which we saw an attempt very early from the side of Idris, but because it isn't able to finish the kill, that corrupting potion, the time warp tonic, from Orphix Runes is going to keep him nice and healthy. So we're going to need to see Idris take more opportunities as these levels mount up.
Definitely so. Is evening it up in the CS a little bit. Idris was behind, no more. Prolupal getting the knock up onto Tef. Tef gonna go down here for sure. Nothing to be expended from them. Did have the flash, not sure if it mattered. That's gonna be Prolupal taking first blood of the game.
Yeah, I'm very surprised. Tef was a little far up, but Jita might be next.
Knock up into knock up. Jita is not liking that so far. Gragas forced to flash out of top lane. Gonna have to recall, or else they can go for a dive here. Aquarius bottle on the other hand. Orphic, no flash at all. Idris just out of range for the auto attack. They're gonna be tanking the tower. Aquarius bottle flashing forward, going to pick up the kill onto Orphic. And they're getting out of that one. Prolupal, and it looks like Aphelios going down here in the bot lane. Spears was here. Flash W. Red flashing away. Prolupal did take an extra tower shot then he needed to. Spears will pick up the return kill. Meanwhile, very good for them. And that is 3-2-1 so far. Because in the top lane, Jita overstayed his welcome. And that's going to be him paying the price for that. No flash Gragas. I said it before, Dax could go for a dive here, and he did just that. What are you doing here? Double knockup once again. 300 gold in Dax's pocket. And my, oh my, this is going both ways quickly. BBZ and HBK picking up gold where they can.
Absolutely. I think so far over across the map, it definitely is favoring HBlock. Not just do they have one more kill, but crucially trading ADC4 support over in that bot lane on the return fight sorry. Trading ADC4 support means that Spears did have priority over the minion wave, meaning they were able to get a substantial EXP lead and CS lead over BBZ Red, so we're going to have to see if Spears can use that advantage in future fights. So far, things looking all right for HBlock, but BBZ have definitely thrown some counter punches, and the Jarvan and the Tahm Kench have solid leads.
Ooh. Speaking of which, Red getting a good stun on the Prolupal. Prolupal taking an L in terms of HP. Jita, however, in the top lane, really called out Dax, really, just now, TPing back to lane while he's taking Krugs right next door. Jaffe did go back, signing that they're not going to go for a redive, which could have been really bad for Jita if they were able to kill him once again in the top lane. Jita getting a good push.
Yeah, I'm not sure they have the resources for it, but right now Jaffe is very confident to go back in onto Jita. These two meatballs are going to brawl it out, but Tahm Kench does so much damage.
And with TF coming up, Jita is once again in a bad spot. Flash stun into stun. Jita's going to go down again. Jaffe had flash advantage over Jita in that fight, and that is really, really good for them. Swung it in their favor. Destiny coming out. He's going to be able to scoop that one up for him.
Yep, and that's the power of Twisted Fate. It's what this champion is so good at. It's getting into the side lanes, getting into the thick of the action, and being the difference maker. What looks like a really innocuous trade between two meatball champions turns into a kill. But speaking of something innocuous, Red is getting caught out.
Uh-oh, Red taken to half. Aquarius bottle as well, but he's going to pick up the kill with the E. Red going to go down immediately. Aquarius bottle, no flash. Dax is going to be able to pick that up. TP from Orphic into the fight. Dax with a double kill. Stun card going out on Idris, and that's going to be 3 kills for Blue Bayou Zoo. Enough for them to start this dragon with no problem whatsoever. 3 kills for BBZ.
Yeah. What HBlock did right there is exactly what we saw BBZ doing a lot of last game, sending 2 members into a caught-out target. Now, unlike BBZ last game, they were able to secure the kill onto Red, very important to keep that Aphelios very far behind. But there's so many more members of BBZ that are around and available. The use of the teleports from both the top and the mid laner really swing that fight in terms of BBZ. They get to walk out with the Ocean Drake and a substantial gold lead now at almost 1,000 just 7 minutes in.
And BBZ stopping a huge wave from crashing into their bot wave. Good Aphelios to sort of clear that as he can. The CS here in the bot lane is Lucian favored. Lucian ever so slightly near that Gale Force knockup onto Red. Good taunt as well. The culling is coming out. Red taken very low. Does not have access to ultimate yet. And that's going to be a double kill. Sealed and dealed for the Lucian in here in the bot lane. Only expending a heal, too. Very impressive.
Yeah, and we're seeing why it's so important that the Sibelius keeps dying over and over and over again. That level disadvantage and the item disadvantage, which isn't even that much that is built up, is going to be massive, as now Spears and Pro Loople can basically take engages whenever they want onto a bot lane that is notoriously strong. I'm not sure if Tef and Red could have positioned a little better. I think Tef needed to take a few more bullets from that culling to have a chance for Red to stay alive, but ultimately it's going to go in the favor of HBlock. They're going to swing that gold lead right back, and now it's going to be onto Dax and Orphic. How can you use the gold lead that you've accumulated, get it onto the rest of the map, and start really clicking away at those objectives? And while there aren't any neutral objectives up right now, finding another critical dive onto Jita on the Gragas makes the most sense for just trying to acquire some more gold and get into a state where you can start to help out this Aphelios.
Jaffe going in for a W is not going to be able to land onto Jita. Jita here in this top lane is going through it. Down in CS against the Tom Kench of all, against all champions, which is definitely, it feels bad, but ooh. Dax and Orphic are looking to gank Jita again, which is really, really bad for him for a third time. That being said, BBZ have doubled their kills that they received last game. 6 kills on the board. Regardless of how even or not it is, BBZ are doing very well for themselves this game compared to last.
Yep. I totally have to agree. This is definitely a very different look from BBZ, and while the bot lane has been tragic, Spears has been playing super well. So far, BBZ look like a very different team from Game 1, and they're being very proactive, and most importantly, they're being smart about it this time.
Definitely so. Aphelios, not all gone just yet. He's one of those 80 carries where he scales into the late game beautifully. He's actually such a scary champion once he's at 5 items. One of those champs, especially paired with the Lulu, that I'm excited to see how BBZ can carry this out if they can get out of lane.
Absolutely. Aphelios isn't the champion that is going to be completely taken out of the game as a result of a lost laning phase. So it's up to Red to stay safe, try and farm it out, try and survive Lucian's pressure. But speaking of pressure,
there's the Destiny. Stun, Explosive Cask is out, but the Cataclysm is going to go out. Jita locked up, no flash at all anymore. Orphic going to pick up another kill here in the top lane. And my, oh my, is the Gragas top really feeling it this time. Could not get out with his life.
Yeah, the goal of Gragas top is to really just sustain through the damage that your enemy top laner can put out, which is fine and all matched up into the Tom Kench. The matchup is perfectly fine, but when you're constantly bringing additional members up to that top side, sustain doesn't help you survive a 2-second burst from the side of Orphic and Dax and Jaffe, and so far it's been doing a number. Meanwhile, you see HBlock moved over to the Rift Herald.
And after taking control of the top lane with that gank, HBK said, no, you don't, and start the Rift Herald as BBZ walk away from it. They walk back, and they are able to actually secure it away from HBK. So after all, they did use the pressure they had in the top lane to their advantage. 4 members to 3 is always better in my eyes. And they will pick up that Rift, and we'll see what kind of plates we can pick up with Shelly.
Yeah, it's a bold one, and I don't hate the play because they have such severe mid priority as a result of Orphic completely departing from lane. But it's just not enough. You don't have enough people there. Orphic Pro Loople got chunked out multiple times by a few skill shots and auto attacks from the side of BBZ, and it really means that they can't afford to take any sort of fight. Aquarius Bottle was looking for an opportunity to take that Herald. But once you've got your jungler on top of that thing, it's a 50-50 at best, and Aquarius Bottle never really got back into range to smite that. So very well executed from the side of BBZ to stop that play. And so far we're seeing BBZ start to take more control over the map. They understand the bot side is the weak point right now, and they're putting their attention elsewhere.
Definitely so. Kindred picking up the Kraken Slayer already, which is going to be insane for that champion. Not the first mythic of the game. That actually went to Aphelios, scooping up the Immortal Shield buff for himself. Pro Lupul getting a good ton onto Orphic. Stopwatch going to be forced out of him. No stun onto Orphic, but no flash either. Means that Spears is going to come through with the train and really let Orphic have it.
Yeah, and that means that HBK should have no flash on the Tef is going to force out Tef's flash, but really it just means that HBK have a pretty safe travel over to this Mountain Dragon, going to tie up the Dragons 1-1. Notably, Jita is down here to help with the Dragon, making sure there's no chance for BBZ to get it, even though they are in the area. They can find themselves in trouble if they step a little too far. Dragon does go over to the side of HBK, but Jaffe's going to crash a pretty substantial mini wave into that top side long before Idris can get there.
Definitely so. Idris is going to be able to scoop that wave up with the cannon tanking most of it. And Jaffe picking up a lot of platings. So Rift Herald has not been popped yet, and with turret platings falling soon, they're not going to be able to get that gold that they want if Dax doesn't come up here very quickly. Idris is in a little bit of trouble. They do pop the Rift Herald in desperation for it. They will get the tower here, Idris being backed off, but Dax is still looking for more. He is thrown out. Q is thrown late. No knockup. Idris walking out, and they are going to be able to pick up first tower of the game. Even in gold, and because of that Rift play, ahead by 1,000. Even in kills, ahead by 1,000 in gold. And meanwhile, in the mid lane, they're going to be taking down the newly no-plated tower and bring it to about half before HBK are able to stop them in their tracks. EQ going very wide there. Idris with the jukes. He's got the juke boots on, and he's engaging onto Dax 1v2. W is a little bit short. Pro Loop off to the side. W coming out is going to get only Jaffe here. Aquarius bottle now in the fray. Orphic in the bot side of that fight is going to find the stun on Idris. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Jita cannot escape the ganks. This is their territory. Jita, regardless of where he is, will find an enemy champion, and they're going to take him out.
Yeah, I'm very curious as to how BBZ finished out that topside fight. I think they just did so much damage. Orphic being very far ahead right now, Dax being very far ahead right now, and Jaffe also being very far ahead right now, able to output enough damage to get Pro Lupul off of their backs and escape that fight safely. Meanwhile, Red returns to that bot lane, a common theme for him, and finds an 0-4 Gragas standing there and decides to remove that. Dax finding a huge
onto 2. Galio ults the own Cataclysm to make sure he can't get much off of it. Cullen coming out, Orphic taken very low. That could be really bad if he goes down there, but Tom Kench ult's going to save him. Echo all going to bring Dax very low. Tef with the polymorph to help get Jaffe out of there. Flash will secure that, but the flash piercing, or not flash, dash piercing light and kindred damage will secure Tef, and that's one kill going to HBK, and they're going to pressure this mid tower, get themselves their first tower, and BBZ are in trouble here if they can't regain their footing here. That was a really good fight displayed from HBK, and really, really good ultis thrown out.
Now, it's a very simple principle of that 5 is a bigger number than 4. And because 5 is a bigger number than 4, big advantage over to HBK in that fight, but Pro Lupul's getting caught out now by the Catfish. The stacks of hunger are building up, and Jaffe's going to have to walk out as Pro Lupul finds support from his teammates. That being said, going back to my point, Red was not at the fight in time as it got started, and as a result, it means that a kill does go over to the side of HBK. But what Red gets in return is a solid amount of CS to try and start to catch up to this Lucian, as well as the bot lane outer turret, which is another solid gold influx for the Aphelios. So overall, I think the play in gold probably went even across the map. And in terms of summoner spell usage, it was probably in favor of BBZ. So while they need to calm down and respect more of what's going on around the map, it really isn't too bad for them.
That is most definitely true. Baron coming up in 3 minutes is going to be the focus, as most of this game has centered towards the mid to late game in the regards to how even it is so far. Cloud coming up in 1 minute will not apply too much pressure here, as Cloud Drake doesn't really synergize too well with these champions aside from Twisted Fate and Galio, which would be really good for, and Kindred in all fairness, which would be really good for both teams to scoop up here. The pressure so far from either team honestly could go either way in terms of fights. I feel like the bot lane of HBK do so much damage. But in respect to that, BBZ's top side from mid all the way to top, that could even it out and almost take the lead, actually, if you ask me.
Totally. And while the Cloud Drake maybe necessarily isn't super synergistic on its own, that Cloud Soul is absolutely nasty this game. Cloud Soul is normally hated on for being the worst soul and the one that least just wins you the game. But there are so many champions that utilize Cloud Soul to great effect. Tom Kench's Devour, Destiny from the side of Twisted Fate, even Lulu's Wild Growth can help her reposition. The Galio ultimate, the Lucian ultimate, the Echo ultimate, the Kindred ultimate, all really benefit from getting a lot of move speed on cast. So that Cloud Soul actually could be really big in this one.
I'm going to be honest, this might be a player diff if you ask me, but whenever I have Cloud Soul on Lucian, I find it so much harder to actually hit Cullings. And with that being said, speaking of which, Culling is going to be thrown out. Dax going to find 2 with the Cataclysm, and Pro Lupul is going to find the Gravestone off of that. Destiny coming out. Lucian going to get stunned up. Aquarius bottle there for his aid. They're going to be able to walk it out. No kill needed. Orphic with the yellow card is going to look for it, is not going to get it. They're just going to get 1 kill, and they're going to move it straight towards the bottom side of the map. Dax already on Dragon's side. Idris being backed off due to how many BBZ members are there already. This could be Dragon for BBZ, which, like you said, if they get that soul, that could be huge for either team.
Yeah, starting up the soul stacking is going to be very nice for BBZ. It's essentially their prize for winning out in that top side fight, finding Pro Lupul and taking him out means that they're going to walk away with the Cloud Dragon, which maybe doesn't mean too much just yet. Twisted Fate's going to be a very big appreciator. Also, Moonlight Vigil from that Aphelios is also surprisingly on cooldown, but Orphic being caught out.
Forced a flash. Idris not finding the stun on him just yet, but neither is Orphic. He repositioned with his team. Meanwhile, HBK have to do a little bit more walking than that. Hitting the plant, actually, very smart for if BBZ wanted to chase, they'll have to get slowed. That's actually, or walk around it, which slows them inevitably. That's a very smart play coming out from HBK to hit that plant and sort of back them off. BBZ taking the reins, mid lane, Jita going to get knocked up. Red is going to be able to pump out the damage. Ulti coming out, Pro Lupul going to take that up, yum yum. And with the TP from Orphic after the recall, he has the yellow card. He does not find the stun, but they will find this mid tower off of this wave. I don't think they have much more minions to spare. That is going to be taken very low. Pro Lupul does find a 3-man stun. The Culling is going to massage 3, and the Galio ult to follow. He's going to be in the front. Jita taken very low. Don't know why he's frontlining. Dax is going to find Aquarius bottle with the knockup, and Kindred ulti is going to turn that into HBK's favor. Only losing 1, and that's Pro Lupul. Jaffe going to have to flash out the other way. Idris is following. He's the only member left alive of BBZ, and HBK clean the board. And Baron is alive, and they're going for it.
Yeah, so let's just take a look at this fight here. It's going to start with the Cataclysm and Aphelios trying to get damage onto Jita, who's taken very low. Good initial front, but doesn't quite find the kill. Orphic steps forward, and they start to go for this tower, but that is when HBK finally calls in their entire team, and they find engage. Pro Lupul using Shirelia's battle song to find a huge taunt, back off, and then throw down that Galio ultimate, applying a huge knockup. And after that, Tom Kench is just a little late to the fight, and the fight has already ended off of Pro Lupul's very solid engage. Jaffe is able to use that flash and get out of there, but very well played from H-Block, knowing their limits, but also knowing when it's time to strike. And that means they should be able to walk over to this Baron with pretty much no issue at all and scoop it right up for themselves.
Death timers are still on for BBZ. They have enough time to finish the Baron. HBK find their entrance into the lead of this game. Will be able to secure a lot if they're able to get this Baron unscathed. And Jita is going to use the rest of his HP he has. Orphic using Destiny to get back into the fray very quick enough. Are they going to be able to stop this Baron? Aquarius forced to smite early. It could be anyone's Baron at this point. Jita taken very low. This is very close. Ulti used to help Orphic here. 2 are going to go down, but the Baron's going to go to Aquarius bottle. They're going to be able to get out alive on that one, but 2 members of HBK, 3 members actually with spears, are going to have to go down in efforts of that. Very good from BBZ to sort of even it out so they did not get that Baron unscathed at all. It is still as even as ever. The gold did go to them, but it's still even with this mid push. They're going to be able to even up the gold ever so slightly into their favor with this mid tier 2 comes down. And BBZ, really good 2v5, 2v4 if I do say so, from Orphic and Jaffe to sort of save the game for Blue Bayuzu.
Yeah, I don't know if that Baron would have necessarily been, you know, the nail in the coffin, but it's definitely good to take out that buff from 3 members, be able to walk mid lane, even up the gold. Explosive cast coming out from Jita, only just going to force BBZ farther away as they retreat. ProLuke looking for an angle, but I don't think his teammates are quite in position for it, so just going to have to back off as BBZ retreat and use their brief map advantage to get this push out onto the mid-inner. In fact, this macro rotation from the side of HBlock looks really good as the Rift Herald comes down. It's going to put a massive dent into that mid-inner tower, and the members of BBZ haven't even started going there. Red is going to be the first one to arrive. Yeah, they're not even going to get it.
They still have a few members with Baron buff still alive. They're going to be able to pick up 2 towers off of that. Big misplay by BBZ, chilling in the jungle, not recognizing that Rift Herald is still in Kindred's pockets. You'd think this is an Earth game. Rift Herald and Baron on the same team at the same time. That's really funny. They're able to open up the base of BBZ. And as much as BBZ wanted that blue buff, funny enough, they sacrificed their base, didn't get the blue buff, and now HBK take control of it. They're going to the top tier 1. They're going to be able to take that, no problem whatsoever. Dragon coming up in a minute. BBZ cut their losses and try to get vision on that side of the map, which is all they need right now. If they can get this soul, that is not necessarily a win con, but definitely a buff that they would want to have to help swing the game into their favor. HBK up in the top lane, getting some things going on. And good lord, these teams are going at it in a cat fight.
Yeah, and so far it's HBlock that's been just a tad bit superior in terms of the strategy, in terms of the team rotations, and having members in the right place at the right time. Can't really see what's going on, but it looks like that Orphic was dove on and immediately just dropping very fast, being left alone in that top side. Meanwhile, 10 seconds till the Drake spawns. The empowered Baron recalls are going to mean that HBlock has a chance to get to that Drake before BBZ can respond, but the members of BBZ need to start walking over to that Lizard right now if they want a chance at getting it, as the members of HBlock, in fact, Idris and Jita are still recalling, but those are the members with teleport. Those are the members that can show up to the fight late. So the question is, what is BBZ going to do? It doesn't look like Dax is immediately going to go onto that dragon, and HBlock are going to see, yeah, there's a couple members of BBZ around here, but they don't really know the extent of it. Teleport in from Orphic means that all members of BBZ are going to hear and ready, and Orphic's going to start shoving out that mid wave. Minions do give vision, so pushing out that mid wave is in fact supporting the vision game, as BBZ are going to be the ones to start up the Drake.
And they should be able to get it here too. HBK not able to get there in time. Galio with a potential engage, going to find 2, and one of them's Aphelios. That could be really bad. Dax trying to save him, Tef flashing out, but that's going to be Aphelios and Tef going down with the quickness. Galio ulti to sort of seal the deal, and BBZ are caught in the middle of danger. No members of HBK are going down. These team fights are HBK favored, and they're running it into the mid lane. 5 down. No Baron on the map just yet, but I don't think they need it. Open inhib means they should be able to secure for themselves.
Yeah, I think the Aphelios and the Lulu should be up in time, that they're not going to lose actually too much more than that inhib, but these fights are going so much in HBlock's favor. They find a really solid engage onto Red and Tef, and Red has a huge Aphelios ultimate that does so much damage that it actually gives BBZ the false hope that they can win that fight. With the members down, they're not going to be able to teleport in from the side of HBlock. These are looking to end the game as members of BBZ are respawning.
Idris going for the ultimate. He's going to be able to get out of that one alive. Dax is going to be taken very low here. He's in the middle of everybody. They're going to be trying to end the game off of that, actually, and they will be able to. Wow, that is very proactive from HBK. They said this game's over, and they meant it. HBK surprisingly take game 2 with how even that was. I cannot even begin to think how they thought that was an end. But you know what? HBK did it. They secured the Nexus. They secured game 2. Match point now for HBK.
Yeah, very well played from the side of HBlock. BBZ really threw some counter punches in that one, but HBlock stayed strong and kept relying on Pro Lupul's very solid engages, both on Rakan and on Galio. He's had very solid performances, getting HBlock into positions for successful fights. And because of that, they're constantly able to find red, not able to get out too much damage as the fight goes on. The whole point of having Lulu Aphelios in these team fights is for the sustained DPS, but it doesn't matter what the Aphelios just goes pop. So we're going to have to see what kind of adaptations BBZ makes in the next game, or if HBlock are going to put the nail in the coffin and punch themselves a ticket to play Yubi in the finals. To find out, we'll be right back.
I remember playing HBK last season when I was on Team Beep Boop, and I was surprised that we beat them, and I don't really remember them being that scary. I remember it being an easy match, to be honest. So going into this season, I didn't really see them being a scary team. I wasn't really worried about them. And after playing them, I still don't feel that worried. I just feel that we need to play our game as well as, as well as we've been doing. The last time we lost against them was a bit of a fluke on our end. We messed up a lot, and I think we'll fix it up this series. So I feel really comfortable about the upcoming matches.
Yeah.